So hello, everyone. Welcome to our virtual community services fair. As you just heard, this meeting is being recorded, so please be aware. As I said, I'm working on it, letting people in, so there might be little bits of little gaps, but we'll just do our best on a Friday afternoon. So at this time, I ask that everybody please ensure that you are muted. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that the land on which we host this event from today is the land traditionally used by the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Neutral people. We also acknowledge the enduring presence and deep traditional knowledge and philosophies of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land today. So before we begin, there are a few housekeeping notes for everyone that I would like to mention. Again, please keep yourself on mute unless you are a service provider doing an agency introduction or answering a question. That just helps us to avoid some of that background noise that we could experience. Please write all your questions for service providers in the chat box, and that can be at any point during the event. Once agency introductions are done, service providers will have a chance to answer them at that time, and I'll read those out loud. I ask that service providers refrain from answering the questions in the chat box until all the agency introductions are done. This is just so that if anybody else on the call has input or questions, we're able to do that as a group. If we run out of time before all of the questions submitted are answered, I will keep a list of those. I will send that list out to service providers and collect those answers and send them out to the larger group at that time. So we do have quite a few folks joining us today. Right now we're at 40 participants and it's only 3 minutes after. So I just ask that you be mindful if you do ask questions around confidentiality of either your tenants or your clients. Confidentiality of the people we serve is always a top priority. So just to kind of set the mood, I wanted to reinforce the idea that housing providers and community service providers are both so essential to the health and well-being of our community. And this is really an opportunity for all of us to come together, to learn something from one another, and hopefully make some of those new connections. My goal here is for everyone to leave feeling more confident in their ability to help others who might need some services. So, without further ado, I will stop talking and we'll get right into community resource provider introductions. So what that'll look like is I will read out the name of an organization. And if you are that representative, I ask that you unmute yourself, do a brief overview of who you are, who your organization supports, and what services you provide. Keeping in mind, we do have a couple of regrets today and technical difficulties are always going to happen. So we'll just, if an agency doesn't have a representative at that time, I'll go back over it at the end and see if anyone has popped in. All right, so do we have anyone from Community Justice Initiatives? I know this is one of those groups who may have had some conflicts in time.
I can update you as to their status if you'd like, because I'm with the Volunteer Action Center and we're trying like crazy to figure out who's going through what. But I think their volunteer manager is down to 1 day a week, Wednesdays. So it doesn't say that on their, people don't want to advertise too much because it changes so quickly, right, in the charitable sector. But yeah, the volunteer program has slowed down considerably there for sure. So that's why it's probably not top of list, but they do have some really great programs. They still continue to do circles. So if there's any areas of conflict in the family or youth or realms, Community Justice Initiative programs are still functioning. So I hope that helps.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. And why don't we go right into the Volunteer Action Center for Waterloo Region then?
All right. I'm with the Volunteer Action Center and we have a website that many of you have probably already used. So I see some of our members here. Hi, Donna Marie. Hi, Emily. It's like romper room. So thank you for having me go first. I don't have a lot of other things to say, but here, this is what I wanted to do. The good old fashioned, I didn't do a PowerPoint, but that's our website. Let me see if I can hold it straight. Can you see it? That's too shaky. But anyway, volunteerwr.ca. These postcards you may have seen at schools, or if you'd like to have some at your housing locations, to talk about the website, that would be something we can mail to you easily. We have to update our website, our address. We just moved to a new location. We're no longer downtown Kitchener. We're further up, closer to Rockaway Gardens Senior Center. And we did that during COVID, so nobody's been here. It's been great. I work alone here at the office, and but we're still functioning as well as all of you, obviously, busier than ever, I think. So we do help connect volunteers to some community organizations that we call members. And so you're going to meet some of those members here today, I think, to community organizations that intake volunteers. And I help match. So I do get phone calls. I'm here Monday to Friday, 9 till 4. Well, Friday I might not be here till 4. We say till noon. So sometimes we take Friday afternoons off if we need to, because there's a lot of other stuff that goes on during the weeks. So that's our schedule.
Wonderful, thank you. So next up we have Sanguine Health Center.
Hi folks, my name's Bree Woods and I am technically volunteer coordinator for Sanguine Health Center. Things have obviously changed quite a bit. We did pull back initially with COVID. So I helped on the mobile health van and the mobile health bus, the primary care bus. And then we do work out of 140 Weber, which we really appreciate in partnership with the region. And then those spaces have closed, being in red zone. So we're doing a lot of deliveries of things for folks to work from at home and that sort of thing. And pleasure to meet you all. Love this, Danielle. Well done.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Bree. So next we have Greenway Chaplain Community Center.
Good afternoon. My name is Emily Jarsma and I work at Greenway Chaplain Community Center. We are a neighborhood association in Cambridge, Ontario, and we provide a variety of recreation programs for children and youth at our main site, which is actually a townhouse unit as part of the Region of Waterloo housing. And then we use also the school spaces and community parks as well. We provide volunteer opportunities for youth and adults, and then a variety of kind of community engagement events over the year. Hopefully 2021 will provide more opportunities for that again. And then we work with a variety of community partners, and many are on the call today, to bring services and other programs to our neighbors at our site in our neighborhood in Cambridge. So check out greenwaychaplain.com, and if you have any questions, Danielle will send out contacts later. So great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. And I also forgot to mention that I will be sending out a contact sheet that has the representative's name, contact information, and the link to the organization's website. Next, we have House of Friendship.
Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, my colleague Fiona. Sorry, did you want to go ahead, Fiona?
You go ahead, Patty.
Okay. There's a few of us on here from House of Friendship. My name's Patty, and I'm with House of Friendship Family Outreach Program. House of Friendship serves our region in 4 areas: supportive housing, addiction treatment services, food supports, and neighborhoods. The Family Outreach Program falls under the neighborhood services. We are a regionally based program serving the entire region of Waterloo, including the townships, and are uniquely positioned in neighborhoods and existing community centers, health centers, social service facilities. I'm actually housed at Greenway Chaplain Community Center, Fiddlesticks Community Center in Cambridge, as well as Erin North Dumfries. We serve families with children under the age of 18, living on low income, with referrals to existing community programs and services. We help navigate with connecting to those services and can also provide direct financial supports to basic needs. Those basic needs can be variable, but the most popular: recreation, food, transportation, household shelter items, clothing, employment, education, health and well-being, and children's needs. We use the low-income cutoff guidelines as a means of determining eligibility. However, we do encourage any service provider to reach out and connect families to us to eliminate any barriers to accessing basic needs. I also want to mention that we are not an emergency service. We do our utmost to meet needs as soon as possible. However, there are many variables, so there may be a bit of a lag in connecting. Thanks, and it's great to be a part of this. Thanks for including us, Danielle.
And I'm also with the House of Friendship. I'm part of the addiction service team. So we've been going strong with COVID for sure, because a lot of people are falling into a lot of mental health, and their addictions have certainly surfaced more than we would like to think. So we're still running residential program. Our men's program just moved to Cambridge, our new building, which we have 15 beds. And our women's program is in Kitchener here at Ann Street, and we have 10 beds, but right now we can only do 9 because when residential people come in, they have to be in 2 weeks of quarantine. So we're able to work with Sanguine and have individuals come to residential. We're still running day program, and I want to put this little plug that if you do have any clients that are coming to you and saying, you know what, like, I seem to be drinking a little bit more than what I used to. We have a counseling services for anyone that's just concerned about their substance. Maybe they haven't even, not everyone becomes addicted to it, but there's lots of flags that go up that they have a concern. So we have day program that runs for 2 weeks, and it's all virtual. It's in half days right now. And we also have our counseling services. So anyone can have up to 10 free sessions of counseling. If they just want to talk to an addiction counselor who is a registered social worker to talk about some of the substance concern. And the other piece that a lot of people don't know is if you have a family or individual that has someone that has an addiction and maybe they're not ready to get help, we offer services, free counseling for individuals of loved ones too. So if your loved one has an addiction and they're not getting help, then the family member or the friend can. And all you have to do is refer yourself to Here 24/7 and just tell them that you're looking for some form of addiction counseling, and they will send your tools or the referral right to us. And we cover all of Waterloo, Wellington region for addictions. And I see Jonathan too will take it over a bit too. Thank you.
I guess this is a lot of House of Friendship information for you all, so I apologize for that. And so I'm just going to bring, I guess, another element of our work. So I work alongside Patty and Fiona in different capacities, but I work most exclusively in the neighborhoods to decrease social isolation for people within low-income neighborhoods. So the 2 community centers we operate are Cortland Shelley Community Center and Sunnydale Community Center, which are in region of Waterloo housing units, same as Emily's. So they're just little townhouse units, and we offer programs for kids, adults, and families who are on low income and live in those neighborhoods. We're really focusing on building leadership skills, social well-being, and autonomy for the community members. We still are running some programs. We do them virtually, outdoors, and we've come up with a whole bunch of different creative solutions to keep supporting the community as we can. And I'd love to talk more in depth about that sometime if you have any questions about that. Alongside that, I don't do this job, but one of my wonderful colleagues, Rudy, supervises some food programs. And so they're at the 2 sites I just listed, alongside Chandler Mowat Community Center, Kingsdale Community Center, Centerville, Chicopee, Forest Heights, and we're coming into Victoria Hills in the new year. And so that provides weekly food to people that are in need. There's no qualifications other than the fact that you live in the neighborhood. And then on top of that, if you don't live in one of those neighborhoods, or even if you do live in one of those neighborhoods, you can go to our emergency food hamper program on Guelph Street. So that's a lot of information. If you have any questions, let me know. So happy to hear from the rest of you.
Wonderful, thank you. Is there anyone else from House of Friendship? I don't see Jessica on the call, so I think we're good. So we did get a message from our friends at the Sexual Assault Support Center who is having some technical issues, but I'll just read out the message that a representative had sent to the groups. Let me see here. So this person is Jessica St. Peter. She is the public education manager at SASC. Her contact information is in the chat. This is the Sexual Assault Support Center of Waterloo Region, who support survivors of sexual violence. We listen, facilitate healing, and celebrate resiliency. Using an intersectional feminist approach, we work to transform systems which promote gender-based violence. Our vision is a world without sexual violence and oppression. The services include a 24-hour support line at 519-741-8633. There's online chats, there's individual and group counseling, there's family court support programs, there's anti-human trafficking programs, public education, volunteer programs. And if you're interested in more, I will send that link out, but the website here is www.sascwr.org, and social media is at SASCWR. So thank you so much for that, Jessica. That's a very innovative way to get around some of these technical issues. Up next, we have Waterloo Region Community Legal Services.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lou Roberts. My role at Community Legal Services is the Indigenous Justice Coordinator, but we also have a new community legal worker. Her name's Angie. Angie, are you able to say hello? I'm not sure. She's on here, but I see that she is muted. So Angie Pham is our new community legal worker, and our, oh, she says her microphone isn't working. So we help people in areas of law, including tenant issues. So we have caseworkers, paralegal lawyers that help with issues related to the Residential Tenancies Act and at the LTB. So there's duty counsel available if somebody has to go to the LTB. We offer summary advice. So we provide information to tenants, not landlords, so tenants, on eviction concerns, maintenance concerns, if there's any illegal entries or harassment against or from the landlord. But we also help in other legal areas such as social assistance. So Ontario Works, ODSP, CPPD, employment law and EI, consumer protection, immigration and citizenship, and we also do commissioning and notarization. So my program, though, I help with Indigenous people. So if they're trying to access our services, I am often the first point of contact, but I also help with other things like, I don't know if anybody knows about the Indian Day School class action settlement. So I often help people with filling out their application forms for that. So thank you.
Wonderful, thank you so much. Next up is the Food Bank of Waterloo Region.
Hi, thanks. So my name is Kaylin Epp. I'm representing Food Bank of Waterloo Region. So here we don't serve individuals directly at the Food Bank on Alpine Court. We're a part of the Food Assistance Network. So we provide food to over 100 partner agencies in the region. When the emergency orders were called in March, we implemented the pandemic plan. So lots of programs had to close, but now we're still supporting the vital services in the region. So we provide food hampers, food for food hampers at hamper programs in the region, including the community centers that Jonathan mentioned from House of Friendship, as well as we support meal programs, which are available 7 days a week in the region, and also food for shelter programs. So on our website, we have information available about the food programs that we support. The website's there in the chat. If you click the Need Food button, you'll get information for the food assistance referral phone line, which is what I monitor. So that was implemented at the beginning of the pandemic as well. When lots of programs had to close, this phone line was implemented. So any caseworkers, community members, anybody can phone me and I can help them to find what resources are available still in the community. So I'm going to just shamelessly plug myself and put my phone number in there too. So on the website as well, if you go there, you'll see a map. And so on the map, you can see what food programs are available, and hours as well are on there. And we keep that updated. So you can use the website, or you can phone me to find out information about food support programs. So also another piece is we're working with the Ray of Hope and Family Children Services Waterloo Transport to coordinate deliveries for people in Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge who have no way of accessing food hamper programs. We don't have very many volunteer drivers, so basically if anyone can get to the hamper programs, we ask that they do. But if you have any clients or you know anybody who really has no one to get hamper for them and they really can't get out due to disability or quarantining because of COVID, we can coordinate a delivery of a food hamper for them. So yeah, that's us at the food bank.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Caitlin. We love shameless self-promotion. That's great. Next up, Mennonite Coalition for Refugee Support. I don't see Erin here yet. This may be one of the ones who we come back to later. Okay. Sanctuary Refugee Health Center. I also don't see Priscilla. So again, that's somebody we'll come back to at the end. CMHA here 24/7.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I usually have a headset on, but it's not working. So you might hear some background noise of my son throwing things around. My name's Tushana. I'm one of the team leads for Here 24/7. Here 24/7 is a service essentially embedded within the Canadian Mental Health Association. We are like an intake, a referral, and assessment service for folks looking for essentially addiction and mental health services within the Waterloo, Wellington region. So we are basically a health information network provider long-term for about 10 community partners. So Homewood, Grand River Hospital, Cambridge Memorial Hospital, House of Friendship, as mentioned, Portage, Stonehenge, Threshold, Ray of Hope. I think that's the majority of them. But of course, we also offer connection to our internal services at CMHA. So children's services, specialized geriatric, adult services. We offer everything from like our First Step program or early psychosis program, psychiatry, counseling, support coordination, eating disorders. It's a huge range. It's a very big agency. So we do that intake and referral and assessment for external and internal, but our support coordinators within Here 24/7 are also they're a mobile crisis support team as well. So they're not just sitting in an office or I guess at home nowadays doing intake and assessments. We're also reaching out to individuals and families. We're supporting them in crisis. We're helping them get to hospital if necessary. We're supporting people when they come out of hospital and doing that wraparound and making sure folks are connected once they're discharged. We are embedded in some hospitals, like our rural hospitals, to do assessments for children after hours. We're pretty much plugged in everywhere in our community where we can put ourselves. Oh, in Grand River Hospital as well. We're also help with the outpatient and discharge planning. Yeah, so we're kind of a jack of all trades, I guess. We do quite a bit in the community. Yeah, that's all I can think of that we do. There's probably lots that I'm forgetting, but yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Next, we have Connects Ontario.
Hi there. My name is Amelia and I'm a representative from Connects Ontario. Essentially, we are an information and referral service for mental health, addiction, and problem gambling in the province. You can kind of think of us as a live answer directory, which is available 24/7, confidential, and completely free of charge. Anyone can reach out via phone, web chat, or email whenever you need information for yourself, a loved one, or a patient who's struggling. We offer information like available programs in your area, estimated wait times, as well as supportive listening to help people develop strategies for when they want to get help, whether or not it's now or in the future. Our staff is made up of experienced professionals in the sector, and they can help you navigate the mental health and addiction system with you, because oftentimes people start to look for information but kind of get lost in all of the stuff that's available. So that's what we're here for.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Amelia. Next, we have Christian Horizons.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tyler. I work as a community development manager for Christian Horizons. Christian Horizons provides services for people who experience disabilities. So we have a number of programs that deliver those services. We have supported independent living programs. We've got a number of people supported in Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge, all throughout Waterloo region, as well as Wellington County. We have group living programs. We also have host family programs. And then we have some things that are just available to people in the community who may experience disabilities as well. We have a number of learning opportunities. So some pretty basic life skills, cooking, cleaning, budgeting, things like that. We also are hopeful to have an employment training program up and running in the next 6 to 8 months, depending on what happens with COVID and whether or not we can do it virtually or have to wait to do it in person. So that's about everything for us. Thanks everybody for sharing. It's great to be here.
Great, thank you, Tyler. Next, we have Aqua.
Hi, so my name is Abigail Wilms. My pronouns are she, her, and they, them. I'm the youth sexual health worker at Aqua. So that's the AIDS Committee of Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo, and area. We offer HIV prevention and support in a variety of ways. So our support department provides support for folks living with HIV in the region. This includes both peer support, wellness calls, and practical supports. So that includes getting folks connected with an HIV specialist or other community services, navigating financial assistance programs, providing grocery cards, and food hampers. So we have targeted prevention and outreach through the African and Caribbean strategy, the Women and HIV/AIDS initiative, the Gay Men's Sexual Health Program, and the Youth Sexual Health Program, along with our harm reduction team. So our harm reduction program offers harm reduction supplies and information for people to use substances safely in the region. Before COVID, we were offering weekly HIV STI testing. However, that's currently on pause, and we're able to help navigate testing options, those still through our programs. Yeah.
Great, thank you, Abigail. Next, we have Horizon.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brittany, and my pronouns are she, her. I am a community services supervisor with our organization. Horizon is quite a big organization, and we work across Waterloo region and in promoting health and wellness and supporting to develop skills and tools in order to build wellness with clients and neighbors. The 4 main pillars of the organization are our counseling department, where we do one-to-one support or family support or group support on a sliding scale with community members. We also do credit counseling for folks who are experiencing significant gaps related to their finances. We have our children's mental health program, which supports little ones who are toddlers all the way up to individuals who are 18 years old. And this is supporting kids and their families in developing skills related to mental health. We also have our walk-in counseling program for adults and for youth. So both of those are accessible through those departments. We do also have a school-based Section 23 program in partnership with the regional or with the Waterloo School Board. And that's out of our St. Agatha/Baden site. They're sort of working between 2 and getting everybody moved over to Baden right now. So they're operating fully out of the school and have kids in there and are doing a really great job. And as I said, I work most closely with our community services department, which houses a number of programs such as the Promise of Partnership program, which works with newcomers and refugees and getting them set up in the community and exploring what mental health means to them. Our community resource worker program, which works with elementary school kiddos and their families in developing strategies for working within the school system and navigating supports and connecting to other agencies as well. We have our CAPC CPNP program, which works with moms or expecting moms all the way past having birth and developing skills related to like child rearing and helping to raise children. They have a site out of St. Petersburg working with the Low German population, which has been a really cool partnership to have. We also have connections with the Pathways to Education program, which is a portfolio that I'm responsible for that works out of our Kingsdale and Chandler Mowat neighborhoods. We have approximately 600 high school students in that program right now. And then in relation or a spin-off of that is our Youth Getting Connected program, which operates out of Centerville, Chicopee and Vic Hills. And we have approximately 60 to 70 students in that program as well. So serving close to 700 students between those two programs. And then we also have our community development team, which works out of two townhouse units, one in the Herb West community and the other in the Pollender community, in building neighbor capacity and leading and sharing power in those spaces to develop programs that they're really interested in. We've had some opportunities to really focus on our youth engagement strategy and our family engagement strategies in terms of how we have community members and neighbors involved in everything from program development to interviews and being involved at the policy level as well. So we're working really hard in those spaces. Yeah, so that's a very, very brief overview.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brittany. Next up, we have Kitchener Downtown Community Health Center.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Allison. I'm a community health worker at KDCHC. And I'll start by explaining our primary care. We have a variety of other programs. So primarily we are a primary care medical clinic. We have a staff of physicians, nurse practitioners, nurses, pharmacists, social workers, and other allied health professionals like chiropodists, and a diabetes management team, as well as dietitians. And so that is a rostered service. So similar to a family doctor's office, clients have to be rostered to be able to participate in that. And right now we do have a wait list that's about 3 to 6 months, but we are taking applications from anyone who is not currently rostered to a provider, and they can call or email us to fill out an application, and I'm able to provide support for anyone who might need help filling out the forms, as it's quite a lengthy booklet. And primarily we aim to serve individuals who would normally experience barriers to medical care. So newcomers to Canada, individuals experiencing homelessness, low-income families, low-income seniors, LGBTQ plus individuals. And I think that's everything. I always feel like there's a lot to list. But we aren't exclusive to that. And it's anyone that lives in the Kitchener-Waterloo catchment area that can be rostered. And we also have an outreach medical team, which has a few days here on site where they see individuals on a walk-in basis. And there's a nurse practitioner, some physicians, social workers there as well that can see community members. And they also have different sites at different partner agencies, many of which are here today, like St. John's Kitchen, One Roof, things like that. Recently, we launched our dental program. And so we're a site for the Ontario Seniors Dental Care Program, which is available to low-income seniors, so over age 65, and they can fill an application. If they need support filling out their application, they can call our front desk and they can offer some support. We also have an ID clinic. So we have Doug Rankin, he's a community health worker as well, who can help community members who need to reapply for their ID if it's been lost or stolen, to help them get into housing and things like that. We also have the Breastfeeding Buddies program here, and they provide breastfeeding support to new families, and their programs begin as early as pregnancy. So community members who are pregnant can already participate in programs to learn a little bit about what to expect after birth, and to get educated on breastfeeding strategies. And they also offer, they've been very innovative over COVID, so all their programming is virtual. So they have lots of different programs, Latch and Learns, in the topics of breastfeeding, but also other parenting topics like returning to work and accessing support and things like that. And then last but not least, we have our community health programs. So that's where I run some of these programs, and my colleague Emily as well. So right now they're all virtual, but our focus areas are food security, mental health, social connectedness, and resilient families. So we have a variety of programs that we're offering at the moment. Things like cooking, learning to stretch the food dollar, gardening workshops, arts and crafts with mental health promotion topics. I'm offering a gentle stretching class. So we have quite a wide variety. Also just some workshops that are purely social in nature. So some virtual cafes for people to connect with others. If we have a calendar for December, and if you would like a copy to post at your organization, or just for clients that you think might be interested, they're open to all community members, so not just our rostered clients. And all they have to do is register. Everything is free, and we even provide the materials for community members free of charge. We have little kits that we assemble, and they can just come here to the center to pick them up and then take them home and join us on Zoom. I think that is everything. But yeah, so if you have any questions, or if you'd like a copy of the calendar, or to be on a mailing list to be in the know of different programs that we're offering, please send me an email or give me a call. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Allison. Next, we have Waterloo Region Immigration Partnership. So I don't see Abia on the call, but maybe she snuck in. Okay. Next, we have Dawn Center. I thought I saw Diana jump in, but there's a good chance that she got kicked back out. Let's see here. Cambridge Self-Help Food Bank.
Hello.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, sorry. My screen has gone completely dark and I'm not sure why. I think I can see everybody. I apologize. We're just finishing handing out our turkey hampers, and I'm trying to solve any of the last minute issues that are coming up. So thank you. Happy Friday. I just wanted to kind of let everyone know a little bit about what's happening at the Cambridge Food Bank recently. We are still serving people who are in need of an emergency hamper here in Cambridge and in North Dumfries. We offer one food hamper every 7 days. Within that food hamper, there's some non-perishable items, and as we get in things like dairy and perishable items, we try to add them as well, so people get that. As many people have found out, we do have community members who are unable to get to our food bank, so we have a new program called Food Links, and we have a delivery driver. People can connect with Heather here at the food bank and make any arrangements for somebody who is unable to get into our food bank to pick up their emergency hamper. And I understand we're still working with Kinbridge on some of the other areas that we're doing. And then, so we're still offering a hot meal. So every Saturday from 11 until 1, we do have a takeout style hot meal now. We've gotten some equipment in recently that's allowing us to serve more than pasta salad, so that's wonderful. So that again is available to anybody who's in need of any kind of a hot meal during Saturdays here at the food bank. A couple of things I just wanted to mention. So that's kind of what we're doing here as a whole at the food bank. My particular role, I am working with the Children's Mental Wellness Hub. So we are working in partnership with a Lyle Holman grant with Family Counseling of Cambridge and North Dumfries. And I'm the Community Connections Coordinator for that program. So we serve families that have children between the ages of 4 and 12 in their household. And my role really is to connect them with the different resources that are available to them through the family counseling. I try to refer people back to their own community centers, back to the family outreach programs, and all of the stuff that I learn here every day. We do have some food programs that my coworker Chai tends to do a lot of. She has multiple programs for parents who are looking for support on learning how to do healthy lunches, as well as some programs about for people who of all ages and all family sizes. What we do is we do drop off hampers that include everything that a person needs for our workshop. And then weekly we go on Zoom with people so that they have a chance to connect and be around and not be so isolated. And on Wednesdays, we do have a children's program that's everything from desserts to toy to fun to skills in the kitchen. So again, that's kind of changing as everybody else is kind of changing with what's happening. And I think that's everything. I hope I didn't forget anything.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Laura.
Okay.
Next, we have Community Support Connections.
Great. Hi, everybody. I'm Jody. I'm a community connector with Community Support Connections. We have services such as homemaking, transportation, Meals on Wheels. I'm sure everybody's familiar with that. And our mission is to keep seniors in their homes. We service adults and seniors, anybody over 18 with a disability. We can help them out as well. So yeah, we have a bunch of different services. COVID has affected us as well. We have grocery shopping, for instance, where we used to do an escorted shopping, which we're not doing anymore. So we've been doing a lot of list shopping for clients that used to get it like an escorted shopping. That's been kind of tricky, but we're making it work. All of our exercise classes, falls prevention classes are all virtual now. In January, we're going to be doing a short osteoarthritis Zoom, like virtual class, and then our falls prevention is going to start up again in February, which is great. The exercise classes are actually working out really, really well. So people are really enjoying them. Something I had to see to believe, but it's really, really working. So that was fun. We're still doing our caregiver support sessions. Linda Fleming does that. And that's also being done online as well. Reassurance calls are happening as normal. And yeah, so that's kind of what we do.
Awesome. Thank you, Jody. Next, we have Waterloo Regional Police Service with Constable Scott Donnelly.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me, Danielle. So I'm the Community Resource Officer out of South Division in Cambridge. There's 2 Community Resource Officers in each division. So my partner is Chris Rose. There's also 2 in Waterloo and 2 in Kitchener. We all kind of perform the same duties. So we're dedicated to community resource officers. We don't generally take patrol calls. We kind of respond to community issues that are over and above the scope of what patrol has time to handle. For example, repeat issues with an individual, a family, or a building where we have repeat calls for service. A lot of our referrals come from our patrol officers if they're responding to the same place over and over again. CMHA, we assist them with home visits and a variety of things, the specialized outreach team, as well as the impact workers that work with us. Housing, we are often involved with housing for supporting tenants, getting them into housing, meeting with them regarding issues such as home takeovers, apartment takeovers. And then sometimes with the eviction process, if it comes down to that, if there's buildings experiencing unexpected amounts of criminal activity, we can work with the building manager to try to come up with solutions for that. We also attend community meetings. So tenant meetings. If they want a police officer there to voice their concerns, we can come and do a session with the tenants. We sit at the connectivity table, so we meet every Tuesday with a lot of your agencies and some other ones who aren't at the meeting today, but to discuss more involved situations, ones that kind of require a wraparound, so more than just police, more than CMHA. If there's kind of a group approach required, we'll present them or we'll bring them to the connectivity table. I conduct SEPTED audits, and that's crime prevention through environmental design. Basically, it's a security audit. It's usually for public buildings, housing buildings, schools, anything like that. Just kind of go over the layout of the property and see if there's any simple solutions, usually cheap solutions that we can come up with to try to help prevent crime. And a big part of our job is just being out and about in the community. So we're out dealing with the marginalized community every day, making sure they're connected to supports, making referrals. We attend community engagements with the neighborhood associations to promote that relationship between police and the community. And as of right now, we're still kind of status quo, business as usual. The only thing we're not doing is the community engagements, obviously, because of COVID, but we are out and about in the community. We usually work Monday to Friday. As you can see, I'm not there today, but we're usually in there Monday to Friday. And so if you need anything from us, give us a call. We'll be happy to help.
Wonderful. Thank you, Scott. Next, we have Healing of the Seven Generations. I don't see Amanda on the call, so we will likely have to go back to that one. Lutherwood.
Good morning. Denise Mule here from Lutherwood Housing Services. I am a housing advisor working out of the the Cambridge Resource Center here at 35 Dixon Street. Let me see. We are currently providing a full menu of services right now. Our offices are open, although by appointment only. Individuals are reaching out to us right now by telephone, and then housing advisors are responding to those calls. What else can I share? Let me see. Yeah, our resource centers are also open for folks who may need to work on their housing search, so they can make an appointment, come at 45-minute intervals, and certainly use our facilities to work on their housing search. The types of services that we would provide when somebody phoned in is a little bit of a two-sided coin. So one side is around the eviction prevention needs, and that's certainly when somebody has engaged with the landlord-tenant board. With the landlord-tenant board in any capacity, they could reach out to us and we could do an assessment and intake and determine whether or not we may have a role to assist in turning that eviction that's happening around. Or at times we also assist folks who are looking to acquire new housing. So what that looks like is we would have somebody call in or come by, or we'd meet with them in person, and we talk to them about their market rent housing search and what strategies that we might be able to support them with. We can assist them at times if they qualify around around last month's rent. But mostly we would be talking about different strategies, different successful strategies for them to implement within their search. As I said, if anybody knows of anyone who needs any assistance with their housing, currently they can reach out by phone and they will be connected with a housing advisor. Or if there is a need for them to be meeting face-to-face, we can accommodate that too and make an appointment for them to come in where their needs will be assessed at that point. Okay.
Great, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I see that Diana has joined us, so maybe I'll ask now that we do Dawn Center next. Oh, I feel like there may be some technical difficulties going on there. So Diana, whenever you're ready, and that's, oh,
Is that better?
There we go. Now we got you.
Okay, sorry. So at the center, all of our services are free. So we are currently offering sexually transmitted infection testing. So people can come in and use that. We offer treatment as well. So people can just come in with their health cards. If they don't have a health card, we'll work with them on that as well. And our offices and operating hours are listed online, and people can book online. It's all free and confidential. Other services that we offer are care closets. So if people are parenting infants, age 0 to 2, we have items from maternity onwards to age 2 that they can come in and use the care closet there. So clothing, some toiletry items, formula, diapers, wipes, those they can come use those. We have parenting programs and support groups, prenatal education programming that they can take part of. There is a pregnancy center in Kitchener as well. So if it's hard for them to travel into Cambridge, if they don't live in Cambridge, they can look up that. They offer a lot of the same services as well. Not the sexually transmitted infection testing, but a lot of the other same services. They can look at those as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Next, we have Hope Spring Cancer Support Center. I don't see Noelia on the call, so we will come back to her. Next is Bridges to Belonging.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all today. Too bad we're not still, physically where we can shake hands. Thank you so much, Danielle, for the opportunity as well to present. I just want to quickly say that the background that I'm sharing is a photograph that was taken by one of the young women that we support. She's a gifted photographer and recently just won first place in the International Photography Contest. So I'm celebrating her gift by sharing this beautiful photograph taken in Elora. I'm just going to do a quick screen share because I did actually, develop a presentation here if I can figure out how to get it on. And it just helps me stay on track. Can everyone see that okay? Okay, great. So just to tell you a little bit about Bridges to Belonging, we are a grassroots organization. We're a non-government funded charity. And we began from a group of families who started something called the New Story Group back in 2010 with a vision and a decision really to have alternatives to segregated programs for their kids. They wanted them to live with full inclusion in the community outside of the programs and the placements in residential living. So that was an alternative option those families wanted to create for themselves. In order to do that, they came together really as a small group of folks in the New Story Group. You may have known of John Lord locally, who was a major initiator in that group. And then in 2016, we were branded as Bridges to Belonging. We're incorporated and got our charitable status, and we serve people across the Waterloo region. Our real purposes for existence is to affirm the inherent dignity and worth of people living with disabilities and to walk with them. We don't do for, we don't do, to, we do with and we do by. And so that is how we walk with them to overcome isolation and live free from barriers to inclusion and experience belonging. We just recently completed our strategic plan, and so I want to share our vision for communities where people of all abilities belong and are connected through meaningful relationships. In our mission, we engage with you to be empowered and express your gifts together with your loved ones to build a network of support that honors your choice for the life you want in Waterloo region. We operate based on based on our values around respect, empowerment, diversity, community, gifts and strengths, and belonging. And I just want to quickly highlight on the gifts and strengths piece. It's so common, and we've all got used to that place where we're looking at what the need is and where the gaps are and what the problem is, because that's just how we're orientated. So we look to find the solution. And oftentimes the solution is with the person and in the community. And sometimes what we need to do is take an alternative perspective. What is present? What is the resources that we can leverage, we can build, and we can, grow and develop and support. And so that gifts and strengths focus is how we operate to look at what is present with the ability, not the disability, and be able to build on those strengths for that individual to live a full and meaningful life in the community. So the principles are fully human-centered as opposed to sort of a service or a social assistance model. It's very much a human-centered model based on all aspects of their life. Focuses on full inclusion. So we're looking for community-based assets for them to engage in as they so choose. And then the work is all person directed. So we really just walk along as a guide to literally facilitate a process of learning, exploration, and then identification of where it is and what it is that that individual wants in their life, including things like independent living in the community. We are also very strongly family supported, and so we include the families in all of the activities, and the process that we use is called independent facilitation. When I talk about walking with, we work with youth age 13 over and adults as well as seniors who self-identify, so they don't have to have a eligibility, like a diagnosis for eligibility. They just identify as having a disability and experiencing a level of social isolation or barrier to inclusion. And we work with their families and their guardians as well. A couple of the things that we do is we develop essential life plans, looking at a holistic picture of all of the various areas of their life, identify some very clear goals, start to explore community-based options to achieving those goals, and then walk with them to implement and sustain those goals and look at what is necessary to wrap around that person in order for them, that goal to be sustained, pardon me, and even further developed at times. And so one of those options for many people as they emerge into their adulthood is they no longer want to be necessarily at home with mom or dad. Some folks that we meet are dealing with something called psychosocial disabilities. It's something new, well, relatively new. There's some new emerging research around that area that is suggesting that perhaps some folks who are living, who are homeless are actually dealing with an underlying psychosocial disability. And so when we talk about disabilities and the group of folks that we serve, it's with the fullest spectrum of disability. So it's not just a developmental disability, it could be a physical disability, mental health disability, so mentioned psychosocial disability, and or cognitive and intellectual disabilities as well. So it's the full spectrum. May also be somebody experiencing a short-term disability that may have happened through an accident at work, spinal cord, acquired brain injury, anything like that. And when we talk about seniors, typically it's in the early stages of dementia that we would work with someone to overcome their isolation. And the really key piece of this is developing of social networks to ensure that, again, it's a sustainable way to live safe and secure in community, but from a position of being in a culture of care and not from support like someone who needs help, but rather within a caring community where people are helping them because of the reciprocal relationship. So we have a program called Be at Home. It's a creative housing. It's integrated now into our overall independent facilitation services. And it's really voice and choice focused. We find out what is it that a person would, where they want to live, what would they like in their home, do they want to live on their own? Some families are even looking at creative solutions around coming together as a family to purchase a property or purchase a home where a number of individuals could live and then hire in and self-direct their own care and supports as needed. And so we look at a number of different creative solutions. We're looking at intergenerational housing opportunities where a senior or an older adult may choose to share their home with a person with a disability and become, a friend in that relationship. So we're looking at trying to find a place where a person, pardon me, could call home, have their choices, but also have those relationships and that security and overcome potential isolation at the same time of living independently. In terms of what our end result is, our attempts are to work with people to find a life of meaning and purposes defined by them through contribution and experiencing belonging. So people engage in activities such as recreation and leisure, friends and romantic relationships, health and well-being, meaningful work through volunteering and employment, network and supportive relationships, and a place to call home. And finally, the everyday ordinary life we talk about for people with disabilities is that they experience their full citizenship, that they're welcome to participate and contribute as valued members in their community, that they're empowered, not by us, but that actually the barriers are removed so that they're able to exercise the power that they actually hold within themselves, that they're able to be active and engaged in as many valued social roles as possible, because the engagement in those social roles allows them the opportunity to meet new people, build greater networks, and access more resources. And obviously all of this activity really is and has a strong impact and outcome on their physical and mental health and well-being. And around the safety and security piece, families really find a natural network, and in that natural network, they find also natural respite. So the model that we're using and working with is really one that focuses on building on community-based assets so that people are less and less reliant on the system. And it just creates more financial capacity where people don't necessarily have those social connections, and then they need to access those other resources. So thank you so much. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. If you'd like to call me, you can do so at my cell number, and or send me an email at info@bridges2belonging. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Let me see here. I don't know how to stop your screen sharing.
I think I stopped it.
Yeah, I don't see it anymore. I see you, Danielle.
Oh, wonderful. So I've just changed my settings and have no idea how to get it back. That's okay. You know what? We're rolling with what we have. There we go. So next up is Sunbeam Developmental Resource Center.
Hi, everyone. I'm Robin Roberts. I'm the clinical intake worker at Sunbeam Developmental Resource Center, and many of you may know us better as Developmental Resource Centers. Sunbeam Developmental Resource Center is our relatively new name, but we've been around quite a while in the community, and most of you know of us as DCIRC. So that's where I'm from, because I get these questions now, where are you from? And I'm like, I've been here 20 years. Same agency, just a new name. So Sunbeam Developmental Resource Center provides support to families who have children with intellectual disability or autism spectrum disorder, and also to adults with cognitive disabilities who've been found eligible through the DSO, and the DSO is Developmental Services Ontario. So DCIRC offers clinical consultation support to families and care providers. We have behavioral consultants, we have a speech language pathologist, we have a registered nurse, and we have a counselor. The behavioral consultants, speech pathologists, and registered nurse all provide individual consultation support to families and care providers. Our counselor provides individual counseling support to families and care providers, and also to the adults that we serve through our agency. We also have and I missed this on Monday sharing this, so I made some notes this time. We also have an autism behavioral consultant, and she runs social skills groups at our agency for youth between the ages of 11 and 17, and those are free groups. And she also runs a monthly social drop-in group for teens who are on the spectrum. Our consultants, as well as providing individual consultation support, they also offer workshops. So we offer a number of workshops throughout the year. Some examples would be anxiety and autism, or parenting tips for challenging behaviors. For more information on our workshops and the other information sessions and speaker series that we host, you can go to our website and you'll see all of our workshops listed there, and you can register directly online. Also placed with our agency, we have a service that has an entirely separate eligibility criteria, which is the FASD coordination program. And that program supports families that are caring for children with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. And as well, we have the Coordinated Service Planning Program housed with us. And that program provides intense service coordination support to families who live in our community and are struggling with complex needs and have multi-sectoral involvement, but otherwise wouldn't qualify for Sunbeam Developmental Resource Center services. So those are important supports to be aware of. But for families that do qualify for our services, we also have service coordination support. We have a children's service coordination team, a youth service coordination team, and an adult service coordination team. And joining me today to talk more about our adult service coordination team is Mackenzie Pratt. So
Hi, everyone. I'm Mackenzie. Thank you, Robin, for providing a great overview of Sunbeam Developmental Resource Center. At this organization, I am an adult service coordinator, and I'll be speaking specifically to service coordination supports for youth and adult. So youth service coordinators work with individuals between the ages of 16 and 25 typically, and adult service coordination works with individuals 25 years and older. Service coordination is a voluntary program for individuals living with a developmental disability. We work in collaboration with individuals to identify what their goals are. We establish goal plans to highlight what our role would be, as well as their role and or a caregiver's role. And the individual is an active participant in all steps. Generally speaking, our key functions would include providing information, supporting with referrals, and coordinating with community resources, programs, or supports. We provide support for problem solving and co-case management with community partners. And ultimately, we strive to facilitate involvement with service systems and assist in developing a network of both formal and informal supports, which is very important. Speaking specifically to housing, our role supporting individuals is to help them explore and identify what appropriate housing is for them. And as I'm sure you're very aware, there is a lack of affordable housing and supportive housing, which can be a huge barrier for our individuals. Our folks live in a variety of different settings, which might include living independently or dependently with supports. And some clients might live with their families in community housing, mental health housing, or developmental services housing. The registries for supportive housing can be incredibly long. And so some individuals also live in market rent properties or may be homeless. As a service coordinator, we can help individuals identify the most appropriate housing setting. And then from there, we help complete the referrals to have their name added to housing registries and arrange additional supports to to help stabilize housing and make it sustainable. It's also important to note that service coordinators are unable to provide direct care or compel compliance to service and or treatment. We're unable to provide direct support such as residential care, day programming, or hands-on support. And we can't act as a trustee or make medical or legal decisions on behalf of a client. Although these are some limitations, we're able to provide support for clients in helping them make informed decisions and making connections to supports as needed. And lastly, to make a referral for individuals over the age of 18, like Robin mentioned, you can call Developmental Services Ontario or the DSO, as you'll often hear us say. And I'll give the phone number, but I'll also post it in the group comment section. It's 519-894-1153. Or you can call our office and our intake team for individuals under the age of 18, and that's 519-741-1121. I think that's everything.
Great, thank you both so much. Next, we have Stonehenge Therapeutic Community.
All right, good afternoon. Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Shannon Stevens. I'm one of the admissions coordinators at Stonehenge Therapeutic Community. I primarily work with the female identified residential program. We do also have a male identified residential program as well. Our residential program is an intensive long-term treatment program. We last around 4.5 to 6 months in length. And we primarily treat substance abuse addictions, but we also can help with co-occurring mental health issues as well, and work with clients to address a lot of the underlying issues that perpetuate their addiction. Stonehenge also has a range of community-based programs as well that operate across the Waterloo-Wellington-Lynn. They range from housing services to community outreach. We do offer support coordination with other organizations. We have court support, community withdrawal services. We have the REC, Let's Grow Together program for pregnant and parenting women. And we also have a peer-to-peer overdose program that runs out of Kitchener. I'm pretty sure that's all of them. Our website has descriptions for all of our programs, and referrals can be made through the Here 24/7 program.
Wonderful, thank you so much. Next up, we have Reception House, Waterloo Region.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emma Jennings, and I am with Reception House Waterloo Region. I am the manager of resettlement and housing for one of our programs. So Reception House Waterloo Region provides services to government-assisted refugees. Unfortunately, they're the only group that we're currently funded to support. We consist of kind of 3 main programs. The first program, the one that I manage, is resettlement assistance. And that covers support for our clients for their first 90 days roughly in Canada, and covers all of the immediate essential services that they need, such as housing, OHIP applications, SIN applications, school registration, things like that. We then have a second program called the CSS program, Community Support Services. And that program works with clients for a year to a year and a half, depending on their need level. And then the third main program that we currently have is an employment program, which matches our employment ready clients with jobs and supports their language training in the workplace. For the housing piece, we have a temporary accommodation as well that houses clients as they search for housing from when they first arrive until they're able to secure that permanent accommodation. So we provide life skills support services in the house, as well as settlement support and more intensive housing support. Our housing support consists of orientations around housing, information about their rights and responsibilities of tenants, support with filling out rental applications, signing and understanding lease agreements, and we are quite heavily involved in the actual housing search as well. So my program specifically does quite a bit with housing, and yeah, that's kind of a brief overview of our 3 main programs.
Great, thank you so much, Emma. I have One Roof Youth Services here. Do we have a representative today? I don't see anyone. Okay. We also had March of Dimes, who had to send their regrets for today's meeting. They had a conflict of meetings come up. Is there anybody that I have missed? Are there any agencies that would like to do an introduction that haven't had a chance to do so? Wonderful. So thank you all for the representatives that have shared. I feel like that was very informative. It's always very enlightening to see all the great work going on in community. I've been kind of keeping an eye on the chat here, and I did see that there was one question that had come up, and that was just around whether or not there's good pickup on the virtual programming in Cambridge that was just mentioned. So I believe that was a question directed to the food bank, I believe. I see Laura pop back up.
Yeah, I think if you're asking if it's continually seems to be growing, and we're lucky enough to have the resources in our building to be able to have a higher capacity than maybe somebody who has to come out and source out some of the ingredients list that we have. So that's been really helpful. And having a food safe kitchen has made it really, really helpful to break up things in a safe way to make sure we can stretch that sort of stuff. So far, we haven't had to turn anybody away, but I would say that our programs are full with room for more. So we just keep coming up with new ideas. So Wednesdays we have program, and then 2 different ones on Thursdays, and then Friday we have something called Share a Recipe. And again, it seems to be kind of well attended. We do have folks who don't use Zoom or don't have access to internet, which is not uncommon. So Chai takes the time to phone individuals who may not have access to some of that, so they can still be included in some of our programs. And I hope that answers your question, Diane. Thank you.
It sounds like you've become exceptionally versatile in your ways of reaching out to people, which is so necessary for all of us right now. Now, do we have any other questions? I'll leave some time here for anyone who either can't access the chat or are just fighting with their technology today. Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions.
I have another one, Danielle. I'm sorry, I come here to learn, and I think this has been great, and wish I'd tried the share screen with, that was excellent, Donna Marie. You always shine. She makes such good sense communicating, and something we're all learning how to do better. So I could share too, but I'm not going to. I think everybody's got a lot on their plates, but this is a directory of information. There was a survey that went around about technology, and did you guys see it, and would you be able to answer? I mean, Donna Marie, this is your work. I think you've sent it to this group perhaps already.
The survey was actually went out on, yeah, actually it was supposed to go today. I wasn't the one that sent it directly, so people should have received it today if you're in our mailing list.
So it's a survey asking everybody to estimate how many people are not accessing your programs, and that's why I asked the question, because we want to try and build those links to those isolated folks, because yes, we're so busy doing the online stuff, there's a whole population that's missing something. And the reassurance call was something came out of our psychosocial and spiritual support working group that's been fantastic, another great networking collaborative to help build connections. There's so much that's going on that's really fantastic, and that's why I think these meetings are so well attended too, because we're all hungry to know how people are doing and what we can offer people who are isolated.
Absolutely. So maybe a broader question for the group would be, for those of you who are offering, in addition to online resources and programming, what modifications have you made to reach that group of people who don't have access to Zoom or don't have access to the internet?
Bingo. Can you write that down, Donna Marie? We'll put it to our group. And that is exactly what we're trying to figure out, because volunteering, we're recommending people just get involved in their neighborhood, their family, as best they can during this current situation. You don't want to extend your bubble, obviously, beyond what is needed within your own world first. So those programs can certainly wait. There's no need to rush into volunteering at this time, although there's an opportunity for a lot of new people who want to do something with their time. And I did put into the chat the link to our pandemic volunteer program, which is a safe way for volunteers to come to certain agencies like the Cambridge Food Bank to volunteer, and they'll get WSIB coverage if they come in through this this portal. So there's some new connections happening for people who are feeling isolated, and we need to be very creative at this point to address hopefully things that will be sustained after COVID, right?
So I'm definitely going to put someone on the spot here. I'm going to call on Jonathan Moyer. I see you're still hanging around here. Jonathan, do you mind speaking? I know your food programs in particular have been quite creative around use of space and just kind of those modifications to be able to continue providing service. Can you speak a little bit to how you and your team have done that?
I can speak a bit. I do not supervise those programs anymore, but I can talk a bit about what they are doing those. Yeah. So when COVID hit, we did a lot of outdoor programming where we were able to do it outside, and then eventually within our city community center sites, they've opened it up into the gym, but there's lots of policy around there. So you have a requirement of how many people are allowed in the gym at a certain time, pre-screening, and yeah, I don't supervise that right now, so I don't know all the measures they've taken, but they are running them in the gym. And then now they've even changed to a bit more, it used to be more of like an event where everybody comes at and drops in, but now it's more of an appointment basis. I know they moved to that as well, but I can't speak to much more than that. I just, I don't supervise it any longer.
After you guys made your changes, I'm so sorry. I put the wrong
It's okay.
person on the spot then.
Danielle, I can add a bit to it because we have our pollinator and herb sites that are running food distribution, and I've been quite heavily involved with both of those. Both of our programs run all like completely outside for the most part. We do some unloading into our small centers, but we do screening over the phone, and we've had our neighbors calling in order to make sure that we're able to space them out appropriately. That's been a really big help in terms of supporting folks while they are at site to make sure that we don't have 100 people showing up at 12:30 when programming is starting. That doesn't always work. We do have a number of community members who are eager, or they don't have access to a phone, they don't have access to any of those pieces. So what we've done is we've created some spaces that have standing time slots. So for those members, when they do connect with our community development worker on site, they're able to say, okay, I don't have access to call in every week. Could I have a standing appointment for, like at 1:30? So we've been able to create some space around that. For technology with our Pathways program and with our community development team, we've actually created a lending plan to lend out some of our technology to youth and their families. And that's been really successful in getting some of our youth online. We're still running our AYC program in the herb community on Tuesday and Thursday nights. So it's ages like grade 1s to 8s. So they've been really great in respecting that we ask everybody to have their masks on. We've limited the number of participants that we can have. So we have 10 per night, which has been really successful. And then we've bought tons and tons of pool noodles. And that's been a really big success for us in being able to run outdoor programming, and everybody has to have a pool noodle so they know that that's the distance that they have to keep. So they're not necessarily the most resilient tools. They break quite easily, so we've replaced a bunch, but we've intentionally set aside some of our programming money to say, like, you know what, we used to do snacks and we used to do these things, but pool noodles is a really great way to spend that. So they love playing capture the flag and running around the field and playing tag and doing all those things. For them, it is a lot less of like the snack pieces and making sure that there is those intentional components built into programming. And it's really, how do we create some spaces for belonging for children and youth who are really, really stressed and they're having a really, really hard time and they just need a couple hours of fun. We're planning to move primarily online in January just because it's so cold. And we're looking at doing things like Among Us and online games. And we've created opportunities to do setup with kids on their phone or their parents' phone and do walkthrough nights with them the first 2 weeks of January. And again, that just creates the opportunity to help to learn the technology, help to figure out, okay, like I know that I can just press this button, or we can set up a direct click button to be able to access those things. So the intentionality around some of those spaces has been really, really helpful for us. We're also using online tools like Padlet, which is an online bulletin board, and Sign Up Genius to manage some of those pieces for us.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brittany. We have 4 minutes left now. Is there any other last minute questions from specifically Region of Waterloo staff, housing providers? Is there anything that you'd like some clarification on?
On the note of addressing the barriers to technology, I'm just wondering, so we have a lot of clients here that that don't have access to a tablet or don't know how to use Zoom, and it's really scary. Like they may not have ever even used email. And so for the clients, I'm able to meet with them in person and provide support. But I'm wondering if anyone knows of any or has created any resources like a video for how to use Zoom or how to set up Zoom. There's one that I found from the Alzheimer's Society of Waterloo Wellington, but it's specifically for using a laptop. And what I've found is that most people just have a tablet, and it's very different. The face of Zoom is very different on a tablet and on an iPhone or an Android. So I'm wondering if anyone knows of any good resources, or if there's a need for us to maybe all create one that we can share among ourselves.
Neil, if I could just speak to that, that's what we were referring to. So through the Psychosocial Spiritual Working Group, very long name, of Wellbeing Waterloo, we started to take a look at what is the, I kind of affectionately called it the digital divide, and what are the needs. And so we identified there's actually a couple of issues. One is the access to the hardware. The second is the literacy issue. And the third is the connectivity issue. And so for some people, we get them the hardware, we could get organizations to, donate them or whatever. And then you run into a connectivity problem or a literacy problem. And then when you talk about literacy, then it's what is the device they're using? Are they on a smartphone? Are they on an iPhone? Are they on a tablet? Are they on a desktop? Because it's different. You're right. The applications show up differently. And so being able to put that together. So that is the start of, at a broad level across the region, Wellbeing Waterloo, providing this survey so we can gather information. Obviously, it didn't make sense to try and survey people because kind of counterintuitive to send an electronic survey if we're trying to figure out if people have, connection to technology. So what we decided was, even though the numbers may not be 100% accurate, if organizations can then estimate how many people they're working with who don't have access to technology. So the survey will help to inform all of those different levels and layers of programming and program development that the region would look at doing within developmental services specifically, and we're happy to share it with any other groups. There is a small working group that is currently working. We have some connections within the high-tech community, and they're looking at working with us to develop some literacy pieces, as well as to make some donations around tablets as well. So hopefully we'll hear something about that like early in the new year. We've been very engaged in that activity. And so it's coming together. We're happy, like I said, to share that broader. And then the only other thing is there are a couple of groups that are available currently to help people that are free. One of them, I'm trying to think of the name now, I think it's ENTECH, E-N-T-E-C-H, and it is a group of university students. They started with servicing seniors who might have some troubleshooting problems. So that's another fourth layer. As you and I all know, most of us are somewhat computer literate, and yet we run into all these tech problems. This is stuck, this isn't working, I've lost this, whatever. And so ENTECH is a free service out of the University of Waterloo with a bunch of students who will help you. So there's lots more coming down the pipe in that whole technology piece. But if anyone wants any information, I'm kind of spearheading a lot of that work, so feel free to give me a call.
That is amazing to hear, because I was just starting to rack my brain. We're starting restarting and starting a number of peer-led programs soon. And with Sanguine, with the mobile outreach that we do, we see 200 to 250 people a week, and do 150 of them not have access, right? High numbers of folks that don't have access. So training folks to do a lot of the roles that we have coming up, it's not accessible to consider technology for everyone. So we need to be in spaces with technology that we can help folks and stuff. Anyway, this is beautiful and really exciting. And you're probably going to get an email, Donna Marie.
That's awesome. That's the point of this. So we have Abigail in the comments also saying libraries are happy to help out with individuals with their technology. Before COVID-19, they would run lessons. Tech Connect is their program. There's a link to the website there for with wpl.ca.
Yeah, you can do a full hour session with them if you book online. And then there's also a whole phone conversation that you can do. So that's all virtual now as well.
That's also wonderful because coming from the housing side of things, the Landlord Tenant Board has also moved to online formatting. So for folks who are in that process that have some struggles with technology, that can definitely be helpful as well. So just to be mindful of the time, we're just past 2:30 now. So I do want to wrap up. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has spoken today. I think it's been very helpful. It sounds like a lot of folks are learning new things, which is what this is all about. I am going to send that contact list out a little bit later on, so you will have a direct contact to any of the programs that presented today. So again, thank you so much. I hope you all enjoy your weekend, safe and healthy, and take care.
Thank you. Good job, everybody. Have a good weekend.